Hi, it's been a while, so we've got a bit of chat to talk about, but not a whole lot has actually happened. Um, it's just about midwinter, it's cold, and my activity rate on modeling has slowed down a huge amount. So just this past weekend, I've sprayed the chrome color on this, so this one was black. And last weekend I sprayed the black on both of these. So this one, which is number 2, with undercarriage up, but it will have a weapons load, has now reached this point. Now, do you see on the tail there? You're going to notice that the tail is definitely more grainy than the wing. You see the wing looks very smooth. Wings look smooth. Underside, let me just look at that. Yes, underside, I don't know if that's going to come through, more grainy as well. And of course, you know that that is the primer, the partial primer, which I'd sprayed. So that's Humbrol 129, which is not bad, a satin, but when you get to spray the gloss, it makes all the difference in the world, in that you just get a way better gloss on the gloss plastic, not on a satin coat. So with the blue Phantom, I had the problem that the blue didn't stick very well to the plastic. On this one, I wasn't sure if I would paint an entire satin coat over the whole thing. In the end, I'm glad I didn't. I sprayed a couple of select areas, and I can't even remember the reason why that was. It was over the filler marks, some of the filler marks, or the filler discoloration, I should say. And I guess partially just trialing. So I sort of sprayed the tail, the fin, and some area here and a bit underside with Satin 129, and the difference is just unbelievable. So, bit of a quandary there. Yes, it's nice to have a primer, but the primer, you may argue that some primers behave differently than others. Yes, of course they do. So Humbrol 129 is not the answer to a nice gloss finish, that's for sure. I don't actually know what is now. I'm a little bit disappointed, but not too bad. It's more important that learning happened, and it hasn't ruined this completely, because this aircraft is not going to be a bright, shiny aircraft in any case. But I'll tell you why I'm at polished metal on that one. This one, gloss black, because I eventually decided on, rather than on the grey color scheme, I do want to keep it, very, very interesting to look at, and that it fits in with the other two Phantoms. So this one I've decided will be a somewhat interesting scheme of gloss black and day-glow yellow, fluorescent yellow panels. Somehow, I haven't worked that out yet. That's it, just the two colors, and then some interesting decals. Possibly the actual decals for this aircraft, but just on a totally radically different scheme. Might look quite interesting. Now this one, this is undercarriage down. I may have also actually touched with the Satin 129 a little bit, but hardly. So this one has got a very, very nice gloss black finish, and I'm quite happy about it. And one could almost go with an all black Phantom, but I want to make it way nicer than just gloss black. and I did do, as I said, I painted those separately. There's more parts, and so I didn't point that out, sorry, so that I could get right in there, so that all of this intake area is properly painted. That does mean that when I get to glue these on, I need to be more careful than if you'd assembled the thing first. But I'm always open to a little bit of an interesting variation and a challenge. So this one is essentially the red and white scheme. But the reason that it is metal color now is because I want a lot of polished metal dash chrome, pin stripes, and some sort of striping over the thing. But rather than masking a huge amount to get that afterwards, I just decided to do the entire thing metal so that I can then lay all of the little stripe masks where I want them, and they'll stay on till the end. So that when I'm finished my final scheme, which is predominantly red and secondary color white, you peel off all of these stripes that I've put on at various points, and you've got the chrome underneath there. And of course that needed to be chrome anyway, so I just need to mask that and close that up. Or I should say not chrome, but you know, some form of shiny metal, which I do a bit of weathering on. So this area I'll handle just about the same as on the blue one. The black one will also get that. That just needs masking and that little bit of polished metal on the back there. And this one has then got the final color red on it for that section. So that is the red that I'm using, not a bright red, but this slightly toned down. I can't remember the name of this one, but this is the same red that I painted that first Reno Mustang of mine with. So I think it'll look quite nice, this red and the white. And then it's got that sort of semi-grey metal. So this is all ready, and it's much easier to handle that. You know, it's all painted, and it'll sort of blend in there. The only thing is that when you glue it onto here, you just need to be careful that you don't mess up the paint. So this one got the undercarriage doors put on temporarily so that I could paint in there, but the air brakes wouldn't fit in well enough, so I ended up masking that, and neither do those doors fit on without clipping off the little hinge areas. So I did that with wet tissue paper, and that'll stay on till the end. So this one looks quite nice, all nice and closed up. Just remember that those doors, those little air bleed doors or aux air doors, were not molded properly on the kit, since they're actually not meant to be in the closed position. They didn't provide for that. So the curvature is a little bit wrong, which you can see, but that's okay, it's fine. Oh, this is the straight through intakes, and this is the, oh, you're not going to see anything there because I've got tissue covering it, but that's the black one, is the one with the 3D printed intake. So I've got that that sort of ray pattern that I'm going to do on this with red and white. So that alone is quite a bit of masking, and very, very delicate masking, which is going to be quite a challenge all on its own. I think apart from the, and I won't do underside, I'll do upper side. There might be a little bit of something interesting going on here, but I don't think there'll be a whole lot more masking. I'm in two minds whether to do a black panel here or actually just go with chrome. We don't need to have an anti-glare panel on everything. Canopies have been left off, so that is a task for near the end. I haven't worked more on the pilots. The pilots will go into this one, or I should say the crew members. The decals are ready for this one. Oh, I sprayed the L-clad clear coat onto this instead of the floor acrylic. So this is not as smooth. That's one of the big differences. That floor acrylic is a very smooth surface, and I'm sort of in two minds as to how decals actually handle. I think that when you use the decal sol and set onto this surface, you get a better binding of the decal. I mean, it worked out well enough on the blue one, but it's not like I'm going to sit there and actually test the adhesion, because once I've ruined a decal, then that's it. Maybe it works well enough on both, but anyway, that's the difference. Because of the amount of handling and next level painting that's going to be happening on here, I wanted next paint layers to bind very well to this, so that's why I went with the L-clad clear coat. And the shiny metal won't be affected by any amount of touching or next spraying or anything. So coming on very nicely. I might actually try something interesting on this area, on this one, by mixing up a slight tint of brown, a brownish color, and doing that so that we've got a little bit of a toned down, and I'm hoping for an interesting shiny effect. You know, brown reflected steel. Oh, I had one slight little accident. Is that going to come out? If you see some little shiny blobs here, I had a little bit of a splutter on the airbrush. Now, what I was saying on the Facebook page, I need to empty my compressor, which is a weird thing to say. The amount of water that is collected inside my compressor over all the years is actually to the point where when I pick it up and carry it outside, you can hear the sloshing of the water inside it. So that's the big 25 litre, well, 25 litre isn't a large compressor, but it's larger than model compressors. So I need to open that big nut, which is actually with supposed to be with some sort of Allen key. I don't have that. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. Give me some ideas, somebody. I need to open that, which is, it's sort of painted sealed, so it's going to be a little bit of a job to open that and empty that whole thing out. I'm hoping it hasn't rusted badly on the inside there, but that water needs to get out. What else can I say about this? So this one is at lot of masking, so there's not going to be painting happening on this for a couple of weeks. The correct manner of doing this decal, this masking, is not putting on strips of decal of masking onto here, but laying it onto something else, getting the exact shape of this on a sort of a sheet, putting it on such that you can peel it off afterwards when it's on here. So you put an entire sheet of semi-pre-cut pattern onto here, and then peel off the individual rays that you don't want to be present. Don't know if that's going to just be too difficult for me, and whether I just need to cut individual rays and try and manually correctly space each one. Well, I suppose another thing I could do is place one, place another one next to it for the correct spacing, place the third one, remove the second one and move it into the fourth slot, and so you build up so that you've got the template of one ray to guide you for the next one. I'm not sure if I should be doing something with rays on the tail plane as well. So if that's got all those sun rays, maybe, I think maybe that as well. That would look quite nice actually. I think that's that's all I can say about that one. Where are we on that? Oh, with this one, so when I get to the fluorescent yellow, the paint order is probably something like the following: a light grey or white onto the black, followed by a yellow onto that light grey once it's all dried, followed by a fluorescent yellow onto the yellow. Now, I can't remember if I have a gloss fluorescent yellow. There's one that I used which is heavy matte. That's the one I used on the Harvard. You remember one of my Harvards has got rays on the wing. Fluorescent yellow on white, which looked quite nice. But that yellow is very heavy matte. So I'm going to have to look for something that can work, but it has to be high gloss. And I decided not to go Dayglow orange. We've got enough Dayglow orange things. I think the black and Dayglow yellow will really stand out. So that'll probably be of the next things that starts happening, is masking off the areas on the black one. And I'm not sure, please add comment whether you think, you've seen some aircraft where they've almost got, you know, a little patch here and a similar patch there. It's not continuous Dayglow sections. It's more just sort of alert patches. It's meant to just make the aircraft more visible. But I'm not sure if I should actually just go for an interesting, flowing, fast-looking scheme in the fluorescent yellow, or a more squared, rectangular, patched type of effect. For instance, aileron maybe in the Dayglow yellow, leading edge over here in Dayglow yellow, some square in the middle there, or some patch in the middle. Select rectangles on the fuselage, a piece of rectangle on there, plus maybe the rudder. Not sure. One will look disruptive in a sense, and the other one will look very sleek and flowing. And you've got to mask very well, so I need to use the good masking, and we hope that it won't affect this black paint. So I'm sort of wanting to let this black paint, because we've had pretty cold weather here, so I don't even want to touch this black, even though it's been one and a half, not quite 1.5 weeks. This can go a couple more weeks before I start putting masking all over it. And then I'll have to look through my paints to see what's the best next color, because the quality of the Dayglow yellow takes its quality from the previous coat of bright yellow. The bright yellow takes its quality from the brightness of the very light grey or white, and I don't think it would make much difference, you know, if one used that amount of white or that sort of grey as a paint color before doing the yellow. I think both should be okay, and I've got more choices amongst my greys, so we'll see what I do. I obviously need to remember that this part of the red does need to flow in nicely onto whatever happens here. So I do need a red pattern that carries on here, and we'll see how I handle that. I'm almost just playing it by ear at the time as to exactly how this runs. Anything else that's been going? Not actually. The only one that I've done a little bit of work on is the 1/72 Phantom, a very, very simple model. The Hasegawa one. Could have actually brought that here, but I'll talk about that in the next video. Now, as these two are progressing towards a phase where it's, you know, do a bit of paint, wait a week, do a bit of paint, wait a week, get to the decaling stage. We are getting closer to the time where I can actually touch the 1/32 Phantom, which I'm quite looking forward to. These three 148s are going to look really, really nice on the wall, or somehow arranged one after each other in a flying position rather than like that. And the 1/32 can start happening with a little bit more energy, which will be very nice. Okay, I think that's it for now. This cold weather sort of does slow me down quite a bit, and I know some of you live in snow areas, which I don't. So you've got much colder than me, but yeah, it does. In the evenings, I'm not at my most energetic for the model building, I must admit. Okay, till next time. Cheers.